I think that the lighting is better. I know it's not a super crazy background today, but this is the best I've got. I'm kind of struggling here. Also, you may notice that there's actually audio in this video, because in the last theory video it was very, very quiet, but in today's it is not, because I finally figured it out. I finally figured out how not to be stupid. Also, I don't have makeup on, and this is probably like the first video I've ever filmed on this channel without makeup. Maybe true or false, I don't remember. Anyways, I feel very weird, but you know, quarantine has us all sorts of ways right now. So, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going into another theory video as usual. So, if you are not new here, hello, welcome back. And if you are, hello, I have a whole playlist of theory videos on my channel. There's a lot of stuff that you might want to watch beforehand before you watch this video, because it'll give you a lot more context. So a lot of the things I'm about to say will make more sense if you have seen my past videos, but I mean, it's kind of like you'll kind of get the gist as I start talking. But either way, if you do want more concept or context for those things, just go back, watch a couple of my videos. I'll probably link it here, or I'll link it at the end of this one. I'll link a playlist. Let's get started. So today we're talking about the Monsta X latest music video, Killa. So there's not an extreme amount of lore in this one, but there is some stuff that I want to point out. And I'm going to say again, theory videos, they're not always right. They're not always meant to be right. They're just showing a theory. So this goes along with all the stuff that I have stated before. I was very confused when this first came out, because I was like, there's no lore in this at all. And then I started to slow the video down and see a bunch of stuff and try to make sense of it all. And there actually is some lore in this. If you don't know, again, context, if you want more context for this, there are two timelines. One is the manipulation of time, and the other is the 7 Deadly Sin timeline. So this specific music video takes place in the 7 Deadly timeline. And I'll explain why. But first I'm going to start off with explaining the movie characters that everyone very obviously pointed out. There was a ton of comments about them. So most of the time I was trying to figure out, because people had different ideas about which characters were actually from the movies, like things like that. So the most obvious ones was Joo-han, who played specifically the Heath Ledger Dark Knight Joker. Min-hyuk, who was Patrick Bateman from American Psycho, or you could say he was Dexter, but the rest of them are movies. Dexter is a TV show. So, and then Hyungwon is Tyler Durden from Fight Club. And then the ones that are a bit harder to figure out, Shonu, he is John Wick. And this was the only reason that this was like weirder, because all of the other characters are like psychos, or you know, the villain, and John Wick isn't really the villain, he's like the main character. And then Kian is Hannibal, possibly. I'll get into that. And then Chang-hyun is, most likely he's two movies. One is the movie called Christine, which is about a killer car that took place, like this movie came out a really long time ago. The other is the movie called Driver. So I want to go in a little bit deeper with these, just to like explain them. Joo-han specifically, his is almost like scene by scene exact to the Dark Knight scenes. There's him breaking into the bank and with the bus, and then out of the car, which is Chang-hyun's car, but in the movies he was in a police car that he stole. Min-hyuk specifically, well, I guess, you know, Patrick Bateman, he's this businessman, and at night he's like a serial killer, and he wraps everything up so like blood doesn't get everywhere when he kills people, whole thing. Hyungwon, very obvious, like down to the outfit and everything, is Tyler Durden from Fight Club. He's literally running a fight club, you know, easy to see. Shonu, he was dressed in a tux, pretty much the only outfit, and he's in this like Coliseum museum type thing, which kind of happened in John Wick sort of like this same kind of scenery, and he was wearing that too. And then Changhyun, for the Christine part of it, the lights on the car, the inside turned green, which happens in Christine, and that is about a guy who's like being bullied. He gets this car, the car's possessed, he gets possessed, and then goes on a killing spree and kills all his bullies and then like these other people. For the other movie, Driver's about this guy who's like really good at driving, obviously. So he's done bank heists, he's done like race car driving, he's done prop like movie driving, and then finally he like falls in love with this girl, and she's like trying to get away from this guy, but the only way to get away from him is to work with him, and he's like in all this kind of trouble with these really dangerous people. So he's like, oh, I'll just help him with the job, and then pretty much he starts to get hunted down. There's a scene where he like ends up getting the money that the other guy was supposed to get, so that kind of like showed when Joo-han put all the money into his car, that kind of thing. And then for Kian, I mean, you could say that he's Hannibal. I know that they're all supposed to be like psychos and stuff, but there's really just like one scene and like one picture that I have that really show them like a side by side that, okay, yeah, maybe, but like the handcuffs didn't make sense because that wasn't in the movie. The lasers didn't make sense. Like the lasers should have had a lot to do with the character that he was, especially because the other ones were so obvious and his wasn't. And there's so much you could do for that character. Like you could have the mask, and I know like maybe they don't want to do the mask because he has to like jump around and sing, but I mean for a couple of the cutscenes he could have, or like being tied back on that thing, you know, like they could have done that. And I mean they have a mask like that, we've seen it in Shootout. So
hi, just coming back in again. One thing that I did notice when I was finding that picture from Shootout is that in this one, like, Joo-han is behind a cage and he has handcuffs. So, I mean, like, I don't really know what the correlation is here, but, like, Kian with the handcuffs and, like, how we could have had the mask, but that is also, like, why wouldn't their characters be switched? I know, like, Jay and Joker, Joo-han, but I don't know. Didn't really make sense. Anyways, I just wanted to show that. And it might have to do with something I'm going to mention later in this video, so just keep this in mind.
I don't know, you could say it's him. It doesn't really matter in the lore, well, in this part. That's just like his movie character, I guess, but none of the movie characters actually matter. Like that's just their kind of Halloween-y vibe that they wanted to give it, but it doesn't really have to do with the lore itself. Here's kind of what I found, like, before, like, I'm just gonna state this stuff and then I'll start to go into it. So there was some confirmation that this was in the Seven Deadly Sin timeline, being that there's the beheaded sculpture that Min-hyuk has in this music video, but it was an alligator with Shonu. And then Kian is locked up, which he has been for a long time in this timeline. He's most likely dead. Again, context. Mention this a lot, but he's always locked up. And then Min-hyuk is the only member that's ever been seen with blood, and we've seen that in a couple music videos. And then in this one he uses paint, obviously to signify blood. Another thing I want to point out before I get into the deep stuff, the license plate said 577 MNW. I don't know what the MNW is. I've been trying to figure it out. If you know, tell me in the comments. I mean, like, M and N monster, but like I don't know why it's a W. I was thinking I was going crazy and it was like an X, but I'm pretty sure it's a W. 577 means major life choices or changes in life, which is basically like the whole lore of Monster X. Oh, the line that Changhyun says, "got room for one more," comes from a movie called Hateful Eight. Not super important, but just pointing out that there's a lot of movie references in here. So now I am gonna get into this crazy stuff that happens. So Joo-han hires Changhyun to be the getaway driver from the Driver movie, and Joo-han either stole the money from a member or is giving it to a member to do something, or it's just for himself because his sin is greed. Think back to All In, when he had Shonu and him go into the bank and steal the money. Juhan specifically could be sending money to Shonu to kill Ki-hyun because... So it's kind of been a big theme since Fighter, because, like, again, you can go back and watch my theory videos, it'll explain a lot more. But there have always been a competition between Ki-hyun and Shonu that was set ahead by Juhan. So Juhan's been, like, pushing them to go against each other, and Shonu has been winning. And there is a lot of evidence that Ki-hyun was killed by either Shonu or Juhan. You can go back to my alligator video for that explanation. But pretty much, I think he told Shonu to go kill Ki-hyun. Min-hyuk, he didn't want to feel lust and agony, which is his sin, so he has gone to Ki-hyun, who is loneliness, and we saw that in a VCR. And he was also the only member seen with Ki-hyun alone, like, in the cages. So I'm pretty sure that Min-hyuk is trying to get to Ki-hyun before Shonu, and that's why it was kind of constantly flipping back between the three of them, and especially Min-hyuk and Shonu. Like, they had a scene where it was only two of them, like, in that room. There's a really, really fast part where Hyungwon is standing in front of the cage, and it's the same cage where Ki-hyun is in, and then, like, movement happens. So I'm pretty sure that Hyungwon trapped Ki-hyun, and for the music video specifically, he did it because pretty much he wanted to get the most dangerous criminal to fight, but also him trapping him did make it easier for Shonu to find him.
Hey guys, so I'm editing the video right now, and I just wanted to pop in really quick and say at this part that this is pretty much the exact opposite of Shine Forever when you really think about it, and I just wanted to pop that in because that shows the two different timelines as well.
And that's probably why Kian has been trapped this whole time. Like, maybe it was Hyungwon who actually trapped him. Min-hyuk pouring the blood onto the head that Shonu had was probably showing that he's going after Shonu, or that he's in competition with him, trying to get to Kian before Shonu does. Also, Shonu does find him because that's when the lasers came in, I believe, because there was, like, all those guys and then lasers. So yeah, I think that's it, or that has to do with the movie that Kian's from. But again, I am not sure because there really wasn't too much about Kian's movie character. But yeah, again, it's not very, like, super important. Again, and this music video didn't really show us anything. Like, it all still ends on, like, oh, what's gonna happen next? Because obviously they can't really end it yet, but it doesn't really seem like anything's been moving forward in these theories, or in this specifically. But this definitely is not, like, lore-based music video. There's a lot of stuff that it's kind of like the same stuff over and over again, and it has been for a long time. But I think they're not trying to get to the end of it yet, but really dragging it out, and they haven't released a music video that has to do with that other timeline in a long time. Like, Find You was the last thing that they released that had to do anything with it, but Follow and Fantasia and Love Killa are all on the 7 Deadly Sins timeline, so I think we still have to wait to see what's gonna happen. More stuff that I found interesting is that this was, like, really close to the, like, almost a full year back to Follow. Like, this was like a year and a week after, and it was 2 days after Wano left. And I don't want to be like the maker or the giver of false hope, but Wano's music videos, which I also make theories on, have had to do with Monsta X lore. So I'm thinking maybe the reason why they don't keep pushing the lore is that they could be waiting for some kind of update with Wano where they could get him back in and then get him back in the lore, because it is really important to have 7 people in a lore that's about the 7 deadly sins. So I don't know, we'll just have to see. But I mean, I doubt it's gonna happen, but I also don't want to say I doubt it's gonna happen because I do really want him back in the group, of course. But yeah, I just found that kind of interesting how it was like 2 days, a year and 2 days after Wano left, and then a year and a week before or after Follow, and Wano's music videos have had to do with the lore, and then this one didn't really have to do too much with the lore, or it wasn't really in advance with the lore, but yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up. Anyways, that's pretty much all.
And for the last time of me popping back in, I probably should have realized this when I was actually filming the videos and writing down my notes, but this might have been their escape from purgatory, because this entire time the 7 deadly sins have been trying to escape from their purgatory but haven't really been successful. So maybe this is what happened, and they are in their new world, and in this world they are the world's most wanted.
And I'm really happy that it's actually kind of short, because these videos take me a very, very long time to edit. So hopefully this one will be out a lot sooner than I was expecting it to be. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I am sweaty. I hope you enjoyed. There will be links to all my other theory videos, and subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like if you liked it, because that'll tell me to keep going. And I'm sorry that this format is super weird, but it's the only way that my video won't get blocked in other countries. I don't even make money off of these videos. I don't monetize them, but YouTube's like, no, you can't use it because it's not your footage, but also we're gonna block it even though I'm not making money off of it. I don't know. I'm winded. But anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again when another one comes out. Okay, bye.